Good morning. It is May the 4th, Star Wars Day 2020. Just going to give you guys a quick garden tour this morning. May have gotten out too late. It's pretty bright out here. There's that chocolate chip mint. This has just come back beautifully. My tomatoes. This is the Berry's Crazy Cherry. Over here, cucamelon has gone all the way up there on the arch. Basil, this is the Thai basil. Cucumbers, don't see any baby cucumbers on here yet. I've got cilantro nearing the end of its life here, but got baby ones coming up and they will be up before you know it. I've got 4 tomatoes across the back, actually 5. There's a little tiny one back there. Squeezed him in. Probably won't do as well because it's real crowded, but I squeezed him in anyway. And then over here on this side of the arch, the shadow, I've got climbing triple crop. There's one right there. More blooms. Beautiful, healthy basil. Some petunias to be planted, and that cucamelon coming up that side. All right, we'll walk out to the big garden. This one right here, I think, is just going to be flowers this season. I've got lots of zinnias coming up. One about to bloom. I'm going to put some sunflowers in. My beets it just got too hot for them too quickly. This is the biggest they got. My Brussels sprouts, I've picked all the leaves off and given them to the bunnies, but as you can see, they just really didn't work. So I'm going to try that again, get them in a little earlier this year. These are from last fall. I planted the seeds late summer, put them in the fall, and they just kind of sat here. It started to warm up in the spring and they popped up, and my broccoli and cauliflower did okay, but my Brussels sprouts and cabbage did not. So, all right, we're gonna go out to the big garden. This sunflower, how pretty is that? This is one of the Titans. I actually thought it was gonna get a lot taller than this. My little 2-year-old broke that one off right there the other day. I cried. So, let these girls out. Chicks, they're growing so fast. That's their adoptive mama. Rachel, Phoebe, and Monica right there. And their mama is Aretha. So the first thing you're gonna notice is we have 3/4 of a fence. James got this side put up. These are posts that we bought, but this is reclaimed wood here from the mill that's trimmings that they throw away. So we were able to put those up, and then we did chicken wire. We may come back and do a cross, but I'm not sure. I think it looks great. And it's going to weather and start looking pretty gray, which is what I want. This is the unfinished gate. It's gonna look a whole lot better in the next one, I promise. And garden shed, so I can put all of my garden tools somewhere. James built this for me, and I'll give you a full tour of that next time as well. It's not quite finished, but just want to show you what that was. So we're going to go in here, see what's going on. This is our cherry tomato bed. These are blueberry cream. These are those these are those currant tomatoes, and they are tiny. Let's see just how little they are. Itty bitty. Should be real fun to pick. I thought they were pretty exciting. These are blueberry tomatoes. I'll come around the back side here of this bed. Sweet peppers blooming. More wall of tomatoes down that way. This bed here, I've got some okra. We picked a couple pieces yesterday, but it looks like got some more. I love this okra. It gets kind of fat and yummy, and you can actually leave it on just a little bit longer than you can the Clemson spineless. You have to pick that really young, but this one is a little more forgiving. It's very tasty. Cucumber. Another blueberry tomato there. Cucumbers. This cucamelon here, Mexican sour gherkin, is just going nuts. And I was not positive what this was, but I think, we're gonna find out, but I think this is Malabar spinach. I thought that I had killed all of my seedlings to the Malabar spinach that I started, but I think we're gonna find out. I think we might have one. It's a really cool plant. It loves the heat, so hopefully we'll do something. Oh, and I see a baby pepper. It's all jalapenos right here. Orange and brown. This squash in the corner of the asparagus bed has grown since you saw it. And the hugelkultur has gone crazy. This is where I picked, oh, there's another okra. And I've got Clemson spineless coming up along here. This is our experiment tomato that we're just letting grow wild. It's got lots of babies on it. Petunia, and this zinnia up here, it's supposed to be really beautiful. It's from the Queen line from Baker Creek. Watermelons, other melons, lots and lots of weeds. I have pulled and pulled and pulled weeds. This is what happens when you do reclaimed dirt instead of buying dirt, because these weeds are serious business. But I bought some weed barrier cloth yesterday. So my goal today is to try to get some of this out and then lay that down in between some of these plants. So we'll see if that will maybe help us out a little bit. So there's that. Here's the girls' bed. They got Brad's atomic grape growing here. And we're gonna get that up. They've got a cucumber, and this is supposed to be Tigger melon. But again, I still think it looks like cucumber. So we're gonna find out what it really is. It's growing like crazy. This end, we'll work our way back to the beginning. Just look at those peas. These are like 7 foot tall. We've ate off of them a couple of times. Onions, the strawberries are doing well. There's actually a couple blooms and a baby berry. Nasturtium, this one looks really good. This is the variegated. These are my noodle beans. They're coming up on both sides. This is the grande tomatilla. Look at that. It's giant. And inside there it's getting big. Tons of those. We'll come on around this way. And the tomatoes are just filling in. This is a striped tomato variety. It will actually turn really dark. It'll be beautiful. Yes, got a little bit of bug. No, this is just a fasciated blossom. So a lot of times what will happen is the blossoms will fuse together and they'll look kind of like that. And when that happens, that's when you get that cracked, because it's really two tomatoes that kind of squish together. So sometimes you get this look here. Happens a lot with heirloom tomatoes, but they're so good. So we'll see what happens. This is the old German tomato. The sunflower here, budding out. This is Barry's Crazy Cherry. I don't know if you can see this, but these are all blooms. All blooms. And that is about the size they get right there. They're so good. So good. Those are Barry's Crazy Cherry, and I highly recommend them. This is Brandywine. We've got some more of those appreciative blossoms happening there. And this is the first one that came on the vine, and you can see it is huge, and it's starting to get purple. More tomatoes. This is Brad's Atomic Grape, and its colors are really starting to come out. They're so beautiful as they ripen. They have some yellows and reds. They're pretty amazing tomatoes. Another nasturtium down here that's blooming. Toys in the garden, always. Oh, there's my shadow. Holy basil. Smells amazing. And coming through and picking these blooms off so it'll keep growing. Last bed is on this side. These are my slicer tomatoes. Climbing triple crop is just got loaded. Going to be amazing amounts of tomatoes coming off of here. My artichoke. And this is going to be my basil bed, and I've got little basil babies all along here. And my big one. So that's about it for today. I think that's everything. I'm going to be coming in here this afternoon, cutting off more branches that have grown out and tying some of these up more. They've grown way at the back of our property where we pushed up a lot of dirt. There was a garbage pile here that had, not garbage, but rocks and old bricks, things like that. And so whenever James scraped up all the dirt from the property, he scraped it here. We used this screen to sift out all of the grass, which we put here. And I decided to try to plant some potatoes in it. And they seem to be doing well. I figured if you can grow potatoes in sawdust, you should be able to grow them in grass clippings. So we will see that as an experiment. There were a few more. Some of them didn't make it, and they may not. It's kind of late in the season for potatoes here. But because of this shady spot, who knows? I do not. This is my Gourds and Pumpkins. Every year, my mom would go dirt around our property, wherever that would be. Maybe a paper company had pushed up where they had logs and dirt, or if we had made a pile, and she would plant a few gourd seeds, and they would just take over. And so I thought that would be really cool if it worked. So they're coming up. They're there, and this pumpkin. So these are pumpkins, gourds, winter squash. So we'll see what happens. This is the very back of our orchard. This is the orchard. Those are the pear trees. Don't seem to be full this year like they were in the past, but there's the apple and a little bitty plum tree that has 3 plums on it. James is clearing out around a fig tree. We have Smilex vines like crazy here, and they are really ridiculous. So there you go. Sounds like James is working on my gate. All right, well, we're gonna go for now. Thanks for hanging out with me.